Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for March 22nd, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 12. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com. That's that site over there. And along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in the entertainment sector. Today, we're going to be talking about a new crime caper on Netflix. Split Fiction, a movie, is in the works, apparently. The Residence is also on Netflix, and early observations of Ballerina and Cameron comeback is most viewed. Again, everything is powered by ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen. You can get today's show notes from Omatron over on twitch.tv/ohmtown by typing in !TCR. They're already embedded in the show notes for the description over on YouTube. And later, they will be in the podcast for each one of the shows. The Continuity Report, Wanted, and
RealityHacker.
RealityHacker, yeah. And
we
then all of that.
Backward.
Yeah, we did. So I had to do that one backwards. And all of it gets combined into Non Sequitur News Saturday edition. And then tomorrow, there's going to be 3 different shows for Non Sequitur News Sunday edition. But everything, like I said earlier, is powered by ohmtown.com. So go over there and become a citizen and then come and hang out with us every single day around 7 o'clock. But to find out when we go live, you need to follow us either here or on YouTube. Stay tuned. That voice you heard earlier, if you're listening to the podcast, was the sentient AI from the future, and the visualizer is the representation of that sentient AI since they can't find their Terminator body. Hello.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, Ohmtown citizens.
I'm always this far away from passing out. Anyway, so today's 5 articles. You ready to get into all of this?
I am.
I know that you don't want to mess around with any of this jibber jabber. You want to get right down to business. So when you go over to ohmtown.com, right under food, drink, and entertainment is the continuity report. It's down there at the bottom of this. News gets aggregated across 6 different categories, 50 different shows that are within these 6 categories. And when you click on the link, you get taken over to Ohmtown. Look at that, Ohmtown right there. And in that link is the continuity report. And that's our current little logo for the channel, but we'll change that as time goes on, find something more appropriate. But then you have a whole bunch of links that you can check out, page after page after page, all the way going back to, when was it again?
2020.
Yep. All right, let's get into it. The first article is over in the Wanted channel, but it's actually an entertainment-based kind of show, so we pulled it into the continuity report. Wanted is the show that exists before this show, at least in its current state. Netflix's new comedic crime caper is the perfect weekend binge. They say it's the series feels like a Knives Out meets Clue with some Columbo mixed in for good measure, and that's the commentary.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm ready for it too. So Aaron Pruner over at cnet.com put the article together. The Residence, which we're going to talk about again after Split Fiction. So the way that this works, just so that you have full disclosure, is we don't actually read the full article until the show actually kicks off. We see the little snippet, a headline, or blah, 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 blah. We don't actually know what it is going to be about until we actually do the show. So it gets submitted. I select from a big list, and so I never even see it unless there's some special connotation to it that I need to get the right context for. Anyway, Aaron Pruner over at CNET talking about The Residence. And this kind of comes across as Only Murders in the Building from this image and from the context clues of The Residence.
It actually looks like the building in Only Murders in the Building, but yes, it looks like a scene from it.
So it says, if this were a book, it'd be a hell of a page-turner. The murder case in The Residence is a numbers game. 1 dead body, 132 rooms, 157 suspects. Needless to say, to find the homicidal needle in this complicated haystack, the team calls in a highly skilled investigator. As with any good murder mystery, that person must have an unconventional style and peculiar methodology. Well, step aside, Adrian Monk, Cordelia Cup, Uzo Aduba is in the building, literally. So, like Sherlock Holmes and Benoit Blanc, before her, she's known as the world's greatest detective. You know what? Maybe this is appropriate. I'm not quite sure. So
Maybe so, because if people haven't seen it and it's current, then
yeah,
who
and
knows?
we haven't seen it either. It's actually on the list now. So as you can imagine, her job hits one challenge after another as she interacts with a cavalcade of strong personalities who each deliver conflicting accounts of the events that transpired. That's why human memory is fallible, and nobody should actually take it as anything other than maybe a clue that leads you to something else.
Yeah, and this started to remind me of Death and Other Details, but then I realized that's kind of the premise of a lot of murder mysteries, right? Like Knives Out, where they're going around and kind of trying to narrow down the suspects, etc.
Yeah, so the place has a specific rule structure that keeps the house in order at all hours, making her investigation all the more tumultuous. And I don't think I want to keep going. I think I want to stop. Right? So I'd pitch it as Knives Out got tossed in a blender with Clue, Columbo, and Monk with a sprinkling of Murder, She Wrote on top of that. And as this article headline states, it's the perfect weekend binge. Don't worry, I'll let my mom know when I'm done writing this. I don't know what that
Okay, I
means.
will say that it sounds like it has a strong cast. A bunch of well-known actors are in it. Premise sounds interesting. It's hard to find comedic that's not kind of slapstick or
Yeah.
labeled as comedy but not funny. So this will be interesting to check out.
Yeah, this might like be borderline. Like it's serious but still humorous. Doesn't take itself too serious, but it isn't going to be Police Squad. No slapstick, I don't think.
I suspect like Clue, right? You have some serious moments, but you have kind of humor along the way.
Yeah. So we'll check it out, and then we'll probably end up circling back around on this because we do have another article that's talking about this, but let's keep going. So the next article is over in Technology Today, and that's because it's a computer game. Split Fiction, a movie, is reportedly in the works. There's a bidding war for the film adaptation of Split Fiction. According to the information that Variety has gathered at this year's Game Developers Conference, Split Fiction is a split-screen co-op game. They say multiplayer, but it's not multiplayer as in 15 people are all scrambling to...
Right, it's just that people are playing in the world or something, right?
No, it's two people that share the same space.
Got it. Oh, right, because the Split Fiction, yes.
Yeah, and one... okay, so let me read the rest of this. It's a multiplayer co-op game from Swedish indie developer Hazelight, or Hazelite. I'm not sure if it's Hazelight or Hazelite. Anyway, Hazelite, which was also the studio behind the genre-defining game It Takes Two. Again, two people. The publication says Story Kitchen, the same media company that pieced together It Takes Two film adaptation package until it was picked up by Amazon, is already looking for actors, writers, and a director for the new project. It was a fun game to watch people play, particularly when their relationship was well matched. But I can imagine people playing this game and one person having a stronger personality than the other and straight up
that
divorce.
Might be a problem. Yeah.
Mariella Moon put the article together. Hollywood movies are already bidding for its rights, according to Variety. Hollywood what? Movie makers.
Maybe movie studios.
Studios. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe that's what that should say. Anyway, it's over at Engadget. Mariella Moon put the article together. And so Variety didn't mention specific companies bidding for the game rights, but offers are reportedly coming in from multiple top Hollywood studios. Split Fiction was specifically designed for split screen gaming through local or online play. You can control either one of the two main characters, Zoe and Mio, as they navigate multiple worlds and overcome various obstacles. You know what? Here, let's do this. Doink.
I was
So
wondering if we needed that. I wasn't sure because the game's out.
the game's been out for a little while, but really what I wanted to avoid spoiling was the context of the game. But it comes right out of the gate telling you what it is. One is a fantasy writer, one is a sci-fi writer, both of them have baggage. There is a sci-fi context to this, but and an economic, business, sociological mechanism in play here, and it doesn't really surface way hard until towards the end of the game, but it's pretty obvious once you get started what's going on. But everybody is trying to hash out their baggage as they're playing this game. But it's quite fascinating. It's a really good story. And if you're not a sociopath, then you can totally buy into it. And it might be a moving story if it wasn't for the fact that every moment that I watched it, it was disjointed by either me falling asleep because the streamer I watch starts at midnight.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And others that I have seen play this during the day, it's been in short snippets because I'm the mayor of a town and get pulled in hundreds of different directions because I have thousands of bosses. Yeah.
You should be the boss of everybody as the mayor.
No, that is not how politics is supposed to work. But anyway, so it's a really fun watch. It'll be, I think if they do it right, it could be a very compelling story of overcoming obstacles, both physical in the sense of empowering someone to overcome the physical limitations of the human body in that space, and the emotional, psychological baggage that we all create as we live our life. Again, unless you're a sociopath, and then the amount of introspection in a sociopath is virtually nil. So anyway,
what I find interesting is the game hasn't been out that long, but maybe they're trying to strike while it's hot.
Yeah, because it is. The game is really hot. It speaks to people, particularly of a particular gender. So it's 2 women authors.
Oh, okay. Right. I should have gleaned that, but yes.
Yeah. 2 young women authors, by the way, struggling authors and it becomes very apparent really fast that one is more positive. The other one is a little more cynical. But it's a great story. It's a fun watch. It's a fun game to watch get played, but it's not my style of game. While I'm story driven, I don't want to be only that character. I like being my own character in a living world. So anyway, that's why I like survival based building crafting games. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report. Hey, it's the name of the show. It's almost like
That's right. It's amazing how we got articles from that channel. Although today we have a lot of variety of the channels.
Yeah, quite a bit. So we're kind of bouncing back to Netflix's The Resident spins White House chaos into cozy mystery, but that is different than the crime caper up here. The Residence feels like, right?
I don't think
weird.
so, but we didn't know it was the same series in focus.
So here's how you know you're having a bad night. Your boss dies under questionable circumstances under a state dinner at the White House.
Spoiler alert.
Is it? I mean, is that going to be a spoiler alert? I think it starts out that way.
If it's in the first episode, maybe.
Oh, crap. Anyway, Sharon Nicole. Why does it... Oh, wow. The other one didn't give that context. 132 rooms, 157 suspects, 1 dead body. But it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I didn't even...
These were described very differently, and when they were submitted, they looked like different shows.
I like the other one because it didn't give this context. If you went into this without that spoiler alert, this is a spoiler. Because if you were to turn it on, unless the the splash screen shows the White House. You would never know.
Right, which you don't know because we haven't seen it.
Dude. So, oh my God, I don't even want... You can read this after the show. Like, go and watch The Residents.
Right, and then maybe read this article. Click through from
you might generously
snippet in time.
Call these people quirky, but that would mean you have high tolerance for pandemonium. Your only hope is the world's greatest detective. Miss Marple? Yes, but no. Sherlock Holmes? Another yes, but not this time. Benoit Blanc? Good guess, but nope. It's the newest, greatest of all time, the global greatest of all time, or GOAT. I wouldn't refer to a person as GOAT, but okay. Of Unsolved Mysteries, Cordelia Cup. Who is it that drives the bus on the Magic School Bus? Do you know? Do you remember?
Yes, but I've just blanked on it. It's Frizzle or something.
Fiona Frizzle. Cordelia
The
Cup.
alliteration, right? I mean, and actually, this makes me think of clue naming conventions because I think they are like that.
Yeah.
Like Professor Plum and...
Right. Yeah, I can't remember it all anyway.
I can't think of the other ones exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can turn off the spoiler alert because we're going to bounce out of this really quick. Just wanted everybody to know that this is a review of Netflix's The Residents that spins White House chaos into cozy mystery by Sharon Nicole. It's over at rogerebert.com. And I really should have front-loaded that. Go and read this review after you watch the show, or watch it first. I don't know how you get spoiled, but it's very rare that I get spoiled. But that spoiled it because The Residents, I thought, could be anything. It could be an
Correct.
old folks home.
It's not called the White House or something like that, or the State Dinner or something.
Yeah. So, it says spins White House chaos into cozy mystery. See, the title I gave it was The Residents on Netflix. So I didn't spoil it until we got here.
Right. Well, and even the two headlines are very different because the other one's like comedic.
Even the
crime
content.
Caper or whatever. Like they don't even sound like the same show, which is interesting.
What a smash. That was awesome. I like that first one better than this one. Only because this one sits there and just smashes you right in the face with White House chaos. This could have been anywhere, and it probably would have been as funny. Anyway, let's keep on going. So the next one is over in the continuity report, the next article that got aggregated. It comes to us by way of who? I can't see it. Anyway, hold on one second. Sorry. A sneeze I could not stop. So the next article is over in the continuity report. Ballerina trailer. Ana de Armas kicks ass in John Wick spin-off movie. So having just gone back and watched the Blade Runner shows, Ana de Armas is in that. You may not everybody necessarily recalls who they are, but it's the girlfriend of the Blade Runner in 2077 or 2049. Anyway.
I can't think of the character name, but yes.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But anyway, so Lionsgate has shared a brand new Ballerina video for the upcoming action thriller movie, which serves as the latest spin-off in the John Wick franchise. The film is slated to make its debut in theaters on June 6th, 2025, pitting it against Mike Flanagan's The Life of Chuck movie. The movie is also debuting in the same month as other high-profile movies like How to Train Your Dragon, Materialists, 28 Years Later, which is supposed to be a hit, waiting to happen, and F1. So,
by the way, she played Joy in Blade Runner 2049.
Joy, Joi, by the way. So the article is over at comingsoon.net. It's written by Maggie De La Paz, and I've actually watched this video. I love the idea of Ballerina. Basically, it's like Black Widows. They're trained to be these contract killers.
Right. I wonder if it'll be kind of like something like Concrete Blonde or
that's
Milkshake something.
Dynamite. Dynamite Milkshake, I think it's called. Or Gunpowder.
Gunpowder milkshake, yeah.
Gunpowder milkshake, not dynamite. Anyway, so yeah. I think that's really what it is. So, taking place during the events of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, the film follows Eve Macaro, who is beginning her training as the assassin traditions of the Ruscaroma, reads the official synopsis. What this movie spoils, and I'm going to spoil it for all of you because...
Spoiler alert. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm going to spoil it because if you watch the trailer, just stop now until that goes away. And even the trailer splash page gives it away. In the trailer, what do you think goes on? What do you think gets disclosed? I'm going to give you a chance.
Well, when is this supposed to be set?
Like right there in that paragraph right there, it's during John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. So it's before the end of the series.
Oh, okay. I mean, does it have some sort of flash forward so you see something that goes on with John Wick, or
in the movie?
Because I know what happens at the end of John Wick 4, I think it was. The
musical. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is something pretty significant, which I don't know if I should spoil here. Yeah. Is it related to that?
Well, because it's still in Chapter 3 Parabellum, in the trailer, they send John Wick to get rid of Ballerina.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, it seems like they wouldn't put that in the trailer unless they're trying to draw in fans of John Wick or Keanu Reeves.
So I dig Ana de Armas as a John Wick style assassin. I think that she carries it well, at least in the little snippets that I have seen. It says the spinoff will also feature returning franchise stars Keanu Reeves as John Wick, Ian McShane as Winston, Angelica Houston as the director, and the late Lance Reddick in his last appearance as Chiron. And Ballerina is directed by Len Wiseman from the screenplay written by Shay Hatton. They go into a bunch of other stuff about this. You can go and check it out. But the world building is something that I'm really excited about. But I think that it's within the context of what's already in existence. It just shows her training as a badass assassin. The only thing that really kind of blew me away is that it's pitting these two protagonists together. One as an antagonist. One is the Deleter incarnate, the Baba Yaga, going after Ballerina. Yet they have, I think, the same ideological mission sense. They want to stop something from happening. They want to stop something from continuing to happen. John Wick doesn't want to stay in it, and she wants to seek justice.
Interesting. Yeah, that seems like that could be a conflict.
And the whole damn thing plays out in the trailer.
Very odd. I've noticed that about some action style movies. It's like, well, just saw the whole movie.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about this. The last time that I saw something where I thought that it was going to play out in the trailer was The Gorge. I thought that The Gorge was going to be everything, but it was not. That trailer was not The Gorge. But this, I swear, unless they do a mad pivot towards the end of this, they told the entire story.
Which is very odd, but we haven't seen it, so maybe it will have a pivot.
She straight up says in response to John Wick saying, they sent me to kill you unless you leave. Are you going to leave? And she goes, no. So obviously...
that's really odd.
That seems like the end towards the battle,
like maybe show the question but not the answer or something.
Yeah, so...
in the trailer.
Yeah, just stop it before the answer gets made and flash to something else. But she's like, no. Anyway.
Well, we don't necessarily know that she was answering that question either, depending on how they spliced it.
Well, if they sit there and call it a fever dream and, Jacob's ladder kind of a thing, who knows what really is going to be. If it's all a lie, then people are going to go, oh my God, we were lied to. It wasn't a setup. It wasn't a real trailer. It was a fraud.
Right.
Yeah. All right. let's go on to the last article.
And report back.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about it. All right. Let's go. The last article is over in the continuity report as well. Your signal is red, so I'm not sure what's going on with your signal, but okay, it's fine now. Anyway, we sometimes have bandwidth issues because the sentient AI is air-gapped in a secure network, and they only have one way in and one way out, and they're inside a Faraday cage in a protected network, and they're only allowed one little port out, so sometimes our signals don't quite mesh. Anyway, it's a thing. So Cameron Diaz's comeback movie lands on Netflix's elite most viewed charts 3 months after its release. So here we go. Wait. I got to try a new one. Okay. It's been calculated to return. What could be the reason for this? Whoa!
No, it's not the end of the show.
It's not the end of the show. It's me. I need a dialing wand. I'll be okay. So Netflix has now added the Cameron Diaz comeback movie Back in Action to their all-time global chart of the most watched English language movies on the platform. It's landed at number 8 3 months after its debut, accumulating 262.7 million viewing hours from 138.3 million unique viewers.
So it must be like 2 hours long or whatever.
Sorry, I'm playing the calculations thing again.
So do you think this was a draw because Cameron Diaz has been absent from movies for a period?
I don't know. It has to be. What's going on with Cameron? Wasn't there something else? Cameron Diaz was in another movie recently that popped up. Is it because there's going to be another DreamWorks Shrek thing, or I don't quite get it. So Cameron Diaz. Oh, wait, before we get there, this is an article over at Screen Rant written by Brendan Klein. We all know who Cameron Diaz is. Been around for a while, most notably for There's Something About Mary, My Best Friend's Wedding, and Shrek, right?
Yeah, I think those are some of her really well known. And also, I think she was in the remakes of like Charlie's Angels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's listed in here too.
Yeah. But I thought that there's something happening. So the Cameron movie debuted in January of 2025. There's probably an image here, but like I said, we're air-gapped. So the movie proved to be a success, debuting at number 1 on Netflix's weekly global top 10 chart for English language movies. This was the case in spite of Back in Action reviews earning a dismal 29% Rotten Tomatoes score, but that could be...
Right, we don't know. I mean, this didn't get a stellar review from Screen Rant, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean it's not a fun watch. It depends.
Screen Rant's own Ferdosa Abdi, from the 5 out of 10 review. Seth Gordon helmed the likes of Baywatch, Horrible Bosses, Identity Theft, Back in Action, which fits neatly into the filmography. Semi-funny comedy with great talent that lacks interesting directing choices. Gordon's approach is very stable but boring. That would be fine if the script wasn't lacking. A few chuckles are littered throughout, but that can be credited to the actor's line delivery. Back in Action succeeds by doing the bare minimum. The thing about this is, what I would like to get from a reviewer is, this is how it should have been punched up to be better.
Correct. I mean, I'm like, well, okay, but what is it actually missing, or what could it have done differently?
What was lacking from the script? What was a more interesting directive choice?
Right. Like, give us an example. Like, when they got off the boat, they should have done something else or whatever.
Yeah, none of that. I never hear that in reviews. I just hear, oh, the voice acting was blah, or something like that.
I don't pay much attention to critic reviews.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be a really excellent movie and have horrible reviews and ratings, and vice versa.
And it's rough even hearing it from friends and family, because you hear it from them, and if it's as nebulous and you still like the movie, you're going to have to one day at the dinner table sit there and go, you know what? Your choices are shit.
Well, the other thing is, a lot of things with the arts, including film, is that some of it depends on your mood when you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Yeah.
But you could watch the same movie twice and have a completely different feeling about it.
I use Arrested Development as a prime example of that. When it first came out, I did not care for it at all. Years later, my temporal and cultural context has changed, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's hitting on every single cylinder.
But that's exactly it, right? It's just the context is different.
Yeah.
And then even just as simple as like you're in the mood for a comedy or a drama or whatever when you watch it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe this person just had a bad day and they didn't like the context of that particular review session. So yeah. So Netflix has added back in action to their all-time global chart of the most watched English language movies on the platform, landing at number 8. So right there.
I mean, this is of all time.
Yeah.
So that says something. That says at least maybe worth a watch.
It seems to be pretty damn amazing considering a 2021 Red Notice has 100 million more watch hour or views, I should say.
Right, but it's been around for 4 years to rack up views. I can't even think which movie that is, but I think that's an action thriller, maybe.
It is, yeah. But the thing about it is that this is only 3 months old and it's number 8.
Correct. Yeah, that's what's really interesting. Oh, okay, it is the one I'm thinking of. It had Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds were some of the leads, and The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, I guess.
Yeah. And so, like, somebody gets a burn notice, and Gal Gadot saves his butt, and yeah. So, and Gal Gadot is another one where I'm like, Ballerina, Ana de Armas, and Gal Gadot, those two, they held their own in that. So, I absolutely loved it.
And exactly, and I would say Anya Taylor.
Oh yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Also from like The Gorge, same thing.
Oh my God, can you imagine those three basically being like badass Charlie's Angels kind of thing, but not Charlie's Angel?
Right, some other variation. I think that would be a real hit. I mean, that's part of the draw of these movies too. But honestly, they have good storylines, and they kind of drag you into the story. And
yeah, and I think it needs to be more complex. Oh my gosh, now I want to sit there and we should write a screenplay that actually takes advantage of that. But you would never be able to afford all 3 of those on screen at the same time. It would be impossible.
Yeah, that'd be a little challenging. And I think we've talked separately about Carry On in here. That's another one I keep hearing about.
Oh, right. See, and that's a year old, but how deep into 2024 is it that it's already landed at 172
million? I think it
million?
was like into 2024.
Damsel is another one where people panned it, but I thought that it was a great story considering the context of it. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these, like Bird Box, is way old, and it's sitting at 157 million.
Right, I think that's more time and just word of mouth than anything.
Yeah. Oh, and it was hype. I mean, Bird Box was hype.
Yeah.
And I thought it flamed out, just like Adam Project. I wasn't too hot on that. So anyway, and Don't Look Up, I haven't even seen, and it's at 172 million.
Yeah, I don't know that one. The Gray Man we saw, and that was based on a book. So I think that drew a lot of people in.
And I'm telling you, if you get a good writer and you stick to the actual writing, you can hit it out of the park. This movie is called Don't Look Up. If you ever use a book and it's a very popular book, stick to the canon and name it Don't Screw Up, because that's
exactly. Follow that formula.
Follow the book. So, and so what I would say about anybody reviewing it, please, if you pan it, you had better give don't come to the boss bitching about something without a possible solution. Come with a solution. You can bitch about it, but come with a solution. You know what? This movie really sucks because the directing choices, they should have done this. You know, that's what I want to hear as boss. I want to hear a solution, not just a gripe. Now, you can be really upset with the boss if somebody comes to you as boss and has a checklist of all these things that should be changed, and you choose to ignore them, and you know full well that it betters the solution or the org or whatever it is that you're providing, and you ignore it, then yeah, you're going to get a bunch of employees really pissed off at you because you fundamentally just don't get it. Anyway, so what does it mean for Cameron Diaz? Her comeback has started off strong and could get stronger. There's you can't really believe that. That is another assumption that they would have to continue to do great things.
Well, right, but I mean, it is interesting because if it's getting kind of poor reviews or at least mediocre reviews, but the streaming figures are really high, this could continue her success, at least for streaming channels.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's complete speculation at this point. It's just interesting because she's returning to acting, so this is kind of a make or break film for her.
Holy crap. I didn't really realize that Millie Bobby Brown was Damsel.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I don't even know what Damsel is.
It's the one with the dragon, where she gets fed as a sacrifice to a dragon, so the dragon wouldn't kill the entire kingdom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and oh shit, hold on.
Spoiler.
Get in the time machine. All right. Well, anyway, I didn't even realize that. I must have realized it at the time, and it just didn't stick.
Yeah, it's been a while. Oh, that was 2024.
Yeah. That was a fun watch, but people panned it. Well, maybe some people did. The ones that I heard.
See, to the point here, like, check out Back in Action.
Yeah, we'll have to check out Back in Action. So the Netflix success of the new Cameron Diaz action movie could just be the drop in the bucket of major comeback, but they're going to be transitioning over to Shrek 5, which is a voice role. You're not going to get the same kind of acting. But they've never had a problem with physical comedy to some degree, slapstick comedy. I don't know of all of the roles that they've been in, but
they've done comedy and action successfully. I don't know about other genres.
Yeah, right. They bring it up back here. My Best Friend's Wedding, which is actually like a romantic comedy.
That's true. Yes.
Something About Mary, romantic comedy. Charlie's Angels, which was action / comedy. I mean, there was like humor all throughout that. Yeah. So as long as they keep all of the energy going, then I think it's a win. So we'll see what happens. This pair of titles could reaffirm Diaz's status as a major A-list star, also helping to boost smaller upcoming projects of her, such as the Jonah Hill-directed Apple TV Plus dark comedy Outcome. So we'll have to watch all of this and come back and talk about it. But until then, we are going to... how do you want to do this one? We're going to come back to the front page of Continuity Report over at hometown.com, where all the news, none of the noise, gets aggregated into 50 channels, 6 main categories, and then we talk about it here on the 7 different shows. 3 today, 3 tomorrow, and the daily Non Sequitur news Monday through Friday. That's an hour-long show, just to get you by, catch you up on all of the news from around the internets. That's it. I'm out of here, and I'm taking the AI with me. You want to say bye?
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the Continuity Report. We'll have another episode for you next weekend, but stay tuned for tomorrow, and don't forget to subscribe and watch all of our previous episodes.
Yeah, 2,100 episodes. By the way, because the music stopped, I don't get to hear the beginning of anything that you say. So anyway, hopefully that gets remedied with the new device. I'm getting a different one of these transmitters to hopefully fix whatever the hell is going on, because it didn't happen yesterday. Anyway, see you in a little bit, everybody. Be sure to follow us so that you get informed when we go live. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube.